Tonight on Hotty Toddy News, after several fatal accidents, local and state politicians are demanding that Highway 7 be made safer. Oxford businesses are still struggling to handle the staffing shortages that are closing up businesses temporarily or even for good. We'll take a look at the challenges they are facing. And after an intense game against Tennessee last week, Coach Kiffin and the Rebels are preparing to take on the LSU Tigers in Vaught-Hemingway on Saturday. And the first family of football will be there to honor a member of Ole Miss royalty. Hotty Toddy News starts now.
From the School of Journalism and New Media on the campus of the University of Mississippi, this is Hotty Toddy News.
Hello and welcome to Hotty Toddy News. I'm Isabella Shelton. The Oxford Police Department announced yesterday that all 5 suspects in last week's Peggs Road shooting, which left 1 injured after a reported burst of 25 shots. The man you see behind me, Denaro Buchanan, is officially in custody as of Monday. His arrest warrant included 4 counts of aggravated assault. Officers originally arrested Deshaun Lewis, Aaron Pomerly, and Swantez Draper on the day of the shooting, then issued a warrant for Damon Campbell's arrest for 3 counts of aggravated assault and possession of a weapon by a felon. Campbell turned himself in on October 13th. Over the last month, one of the city's biggest safety threats isn't gun violence, but a dangerous highway stretch. If you travel frequently using Highway 7, you may have noticed some extra time added to your commute as a result. The highway is under construction after several deathly accidents around the Highway 9 intersection near Taylor. Reporter Ryan Hillis has more details on how the highway is changing.
Since 2014, more than 800 accidents have been reported on Highway 7 within the Oxford city limits, and there have been 16 deaths since 2015. And just 2 weeks ago, 3 people died in 2 separate accidents on the highway.
It's just a very busy road and it needed improvements to help the flow of traffic.
On Thursday, Oxford Mayor Robin Tannehill and many other board members signed a joint request letter addressed to the Mississippi Department of Transportation to make changes to the highway, such as turning it into a 4-lane and improving Highway 7 and 9 intersection.
Talk of improving and doing things to Highway 7 for a long time now, for many years, and but they're finally getting to it.
Senator Nicole Boyd, who also signed the letter, is working on securing fundings for the future improvements.
Right now, what we are is in the process of trying to see what we can do to secure more funds to get that highway 4-laned.
Residents who live off of Highway 7 are looking forward to these improvements.
I think it'll be good for the city of Oxford. It'll help reduce accidents and all that kind of stuff.
And as you can see here, they are already making improvements by building a roundabout here at the 7-9 split, and there are hopefully more to come. This is Rylan Hillis reporting for Hotty Toddy News.
Officials will make a decision soon on whether the highway will become a 4-lane road. After well over a year and a half, the workforce is still struggling to get back to normal as worker shortages continue to threaten Oxford businesses. Reporter Caroline Helms checked in with local businesses to see how they are handling the shortage.
Staff shortages have been an ongoing problem since the beginning of the pandemic, and with restaurants being slammed due to the football season crowd, restaurant staff are stressed now more than ever. Manager at Uno Mas, Jose Garcia, says it's difficult to manage an understaffed kitchen on a busy game day weekend.
We're already a little short-staffed, and then on top of that, a lot of our employees are college students, so they do want to go to the games.
Garcia is prepared to step into any position he can when his staff are stretched thin.
Pretty much try to just help everybody.
Like Garcia, Uno Mas shift leader and head bartender Parker Trawick says they lost many employees during the height of the pandemic, and it has been difficult to hire back the staff, especially in the kitchen.
Say our kitchen staff had to leave because of COVID and everything, so we had to bring in a whole new kitchen staff about 5 months ago, so that was pretty hard.
Trawick is confident his staff can handle the rush, but it can still be a struggle.
Our employees are pretty good with picking up slack and shifts for other people that can't cover it.
Employee shortages are affecting many restaurants in Oxford. In fact, Uno Mas was one of the only ones we could talk to due to the shortage. Managers here told us that many restaurants, including them, are struggling to keep their staff during this busy football season. For Hotty Toddy News, this is Caroline Helms.
While staffing is up significantly from the start of the pandemic, businesses are far from their pre-outbreak levels. It goes beyond restaurant workers. Trucker shortages are threatening supply lines. With another game day weekend here comes the high demand for catering companies. However, businesses are struggling with supply shortages. Chloe Baker has details on how businesses are getting by.
A lack of truck drivers has led to a national supply shortage that is affecting businesses everywhere. Local bakery R&R Cookies has felt these negative impacts since the beginning of the pandemic. Store owner Jessica Franks says she had to change her menu as a result.
For example, gluten-free flour is one of those that I've not been able to get. And so there are definitely specific cookies that we just cannot make right now.
In addition to supply issues, demand for these goods has increased as well, mostly because of the return of tailgating in the Grove, making it difficult for Franks to fulfill her orders.
That's the reason we booked so quickly, because we didn't have football last year and people have ordered way in advance to make sure that they get cookies for tailgating.
Catering businesses have been booking up quickly, making some tailgaters opt out of choosing local spots for their tailgate food.
Have to book out like weeks or months in advance just to get an order, and so most of the time we've just resulted to getting food in our hometown and transporting it to Oxford. It's just convenient for us and it's easier for us in the long run.
If you have an upcoming tailgate or event you would like catered, consider ordering far in advance. R&R Cookies asks that customers place orders at least 2 weeks in advance, but the earlier the better. For Hotty Toddy News, I'm Chloe Baker.
With only a few more home football games left in the season, if you are looking for catering for your tailgate, now is your time to book. This Saturday, game day is on, whether you can get food to your tailgate or not. After an emotional game last weekend, Ole Miss is back at home to welcome the LSU Tigers. But the excitement is about more than just the game, as Hollingsworth Field is decked out to celebrate Eli Manning's jersey retirement. Reporter Anna Tate gives the rundown on what fans expect this weekend and Kiffin's thoughts on last weekend's game.
Ole Miss football is off to a hot start at the midway point of the season with a record of 5-1. With emotional wins over Arkansas and Tennessee in back-to-back weeks, one common theme this season is the performance of Matt Corral. He has completed 122 passes for 1,728 yards in the air and 14 touchdowns. Just this past week, Corral accounted for 426 yards, paving the way for yet another weekly honor of being named co-offensive player of the week for the SEC.
O-line did a great job. The receivers who stepped up, who don't usually get to play a lot. They got some playing time in. Dennis Jackson, kid rarely see the field, and he scores on a double move, and that's the type of stuff that we needed in an away game.
Home field advantage played a huge part in Ole Miss winning over Tennessee last weekend. The team performed well despite Tennessee students throwing trash and a golf ball onto the field.
I just wanted to play. I mean, the players got helmets. It's the coaches that are going to get hit. Like, I still have my souvenir golf ball that I got hit with. But so, I mean, I just put the helmets on, let's play.
I would think this would be a very hot ticket. I get to go see Eli Manning and Matt Corral, so be a pretty cool thing Saturday.
At the moment, there are only 1,700 tickets left, while Club Red is sold out. Along with the number retirement, Ole Miss Athletics has decided to paint both end zones red and with Manning in the center. And the 10-yard line will also be outlined. For Hotty Toddy News, I'm Anna Tate.
Coach Kiffin is asking Rebel fans to pack the Vaught to create a great playing environment while honoring Eli's Rebel legacy. In other sports news, after a year hiatus due to COVID, Square Jam is back this Friday. Fans will watch the Rebels show off their skills on a basketball court in front of City Hall. Players will compete in a three-point contest and a men's dunk contest. There will even be a chance for members of the Rebel Kids Club to participate in a kids' dunk contest. Players will sign autographs after the event. The official start to Rebel basketball for both the men's and women's teams is next month. That's all for you this week. You can find all of our shows as well as the latest news from the Oxford Lafayette community on HottyToddy.com. I'm Isabella Shelton. Thank you. We'll see you next week.